From Paramus, New Jersey for Rutgers, transferred in from Penn State. Bergen Catholic High School, number 2 in the country against Daton Fix, the redshirt freshman from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, number 6 in the land. Suriano Fix.
And you can just hear the crowd right now. They're excited about this. A lot of people on their feet.
If you're new to wrestling, October of 2014 at 120 pounds at FloWrestling's Who's Number 1, it was Nick Suriano 3-1 in overtime. Not just any overtime, 32 minutes before that takedown by Suriano, so there is history here. National finalist a year ago was Suriano at 125, falling to Spencer Lee of Iowa. Daton Fix redshirting a year ago, going 5-0.
And you can see right out of the gate, both guys engaging. Neither one is going to be looking to hang back and see what happens. Both guys are extremely offensive, so I expect there to be a lot of offensive explosion in this match for sure.
Scott Goodell saying there's just so many superlatives you can throw out about both Suriano and Ashnault this year. He's on target to do what he wants him to do. And there's a little bit of an internal competition in the room between Suriano and Ashnault. One guy gets a tech, the other wants to get a tech, and likewise. But now you're facing a junior world champion from 2017 in Daton Fix, so the approach becomes a little different for the normally aggressive Suriano today.
For sure, and this is going to give you a really great gauge for both guys of where you're at, right? Daton Fix has come in without a loss so far this season, and he's really put it on a lot of his opponents that he's wrestled and has done a great job. They both score a lot of points, and even though nothing's happened in this match so far, both guys you can see hand fighting hard, looking for their opening, right? They understand that points are going to come at a premium when you have two caliber guys like this out on the mat.
Daton Fix with a 22-7 tech fall in his work at Princeton yesterday. Cowboys coming off a 27-12 win down at Jadwin Gymnasium. Suriano comes in at 13-0, 8-0 in duels. One of the greatest high school wrestlers in New Jersey history.
And you hear the ooh, that's a shot that normally Suriano pulls the trigger on. It's just a snatch single leg, and you could see he kind of backed out of it. I'm a little surprised 2 minutes in that neither one has really engaged the other.
Suriano, the 4-time state champ at Bergen Catholic, 159-0, just the 4th 4-time New Jersey state champ ever. Joining, of course, the man you'll see at 49 for Rutgers and Anthony Ashnault. So you're surprised that they're feeling each other out here?
I would have thought there'd be a little bit more leg attempts from both guys. I mean, obviously, right, this has been hyped up, so you know if you don't think that affects the individual wrestlers, right, even though they're excited for the competition and they've both wrestled in extremely big bouts, it plays on your mind a little bit. So both guys may be a little bit more hesitant than they would otherwise be, you know, giving each other probably a little bit too much respect. I mean, that's something that, you know, Gene Zanetti, who owns Wrestling Mindset, talks about all the time. You know, that's one of the mindset red flags if you give your opponent a little too much respect. And I think that's what we saw in the first period.
Well, Nick Suriano in his post-match press conference after Rutgers, in a minor upset over Wisconsin, 17-16 on criteria of 56-50 match points, he said, yeah, he's coming here to beat me. That's what it's all about. Suriano threw up the finger after the match to signal his number 1, that he's coming for it. Of course, it's a very deep weight class at 133.
Maybe the deepest weight class in the country this year. There's obviously a top tier of talent, and that's sorry not to get off of that topic, but that's something Daton Fix has been great at all season. Gets out extremely quickly. Didn't let Suriano get to his ride, but 133 probably the deepest weight class. There's obviously a top tier with Seth Gross, the returning national champ, these two and some others, but beyond that, you know, anybody from 4 to 16 or 17 has a shot at getting on the podium at the national tournament this week.
It's pretty easy to let this one breathe. Let it talk. 1:20 to go in the second. Fix up 1-0 on Suriano via a quick escape after just 9 points.
I'm interested to see who will pull the trigger first and who's going to get to their leg attempts and attempt to score, because Daton Fix is very good on top.
Now, does that mean a minute, though? That's a minute and 9 he'll need.
Yeah, can he hold Suriano down for a minute and 9? I don't personally think he can. but he's certainly capable of it. His skill level is there. So, you know, regardless, both guys are going to have to score on their feet likely.
And how many times can Suriano shoot and have Fix just step back with the leg before that there's some press of the action here from the officials?
Yeah, the home crowd may want that. If you're watching this, though, neither guy has really engaged. They're both hand fighting hard. They're staying on the center R. Both guys, neither one has really engaged enough to call for a stall. No one's avoiding action. There's just not a lot of it yet.
18 seconds, period 2. Our first of a couple of top 10 matchups coming today, depending on which way Oklahoma State goes with their group of wrestlers in terms of a couple of oars in the lineup, which we'll get to in a bit. But we'll go to period 3. Suriano down 1-0 to Fix. I think everyone expected this to be low scoring, but here's what you mentioned about getting out quickly.
Yeah, great escape. I thought there would be a little bit more action. You can see that, you can't see it on your screen. Oklahoma State coaches are really getting on Fix right now to kind of get a boot in, see if he can ride him out a little bit and win the match. And looks like Suriano wanted a locking hands, and Goodale on the mat as well. It's definitely, that is a stall. You got to kind of look to turn on top. I'm a little surprised they didn't do that sooner. And I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure at the break there, Daton Fix's father's over near the Oklahoma State bench and asking him to get going on his feet a little bit.
Suriano out in 17 seconds. Riding time will not be a factor here at 8 seconds in the favor of Fix. 1-1 period 3 at 133. Nick Piccinini with a tech fall over Shane Metzler to make it 5-0 Oklahoma State. But the spotlight here at 133, the 4-year in the waiting rematch between Suriano and Fix. And remember, that was also 3-1.
Daton Fix doing a good job of keeping Suriano at bay. Suriano pushing the action a little bit right now. And the rack obviously rooting for their guy, wants a stall call. I would be very surprised if you see one.
$168-0. 4 state titles for Daton Fix in high school. Here's that lock hands you were referring to. This is on the back end of it. That's after the fact. There was the escape. John Smith calling for something off the restart.
Maybe they're looking some hands to the face. That's been a big rule change. Well, I don't know. I'll say change. It's always been a rule, but the officials have been looking for hands to the face a lot. You can see Suriano going on the top of the head.
You mean Minnesota?
I would.
That's just the approach, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a really gutsy call right now to hit a hands to the face in a match like this, 1-1 with these caliber guys. It's really kind of, it's a weird call. I'm not a big fan of it. Let the guys wrestle. I mean, obviously, if there's something dirty, right, you call that, but.
Well, this was always going to be decided in sudden victory, wasn't it? I think we all knew.
Honestly, before the match, I thought it was going to be between 8 and 12 points scored total. I thought both guys were going to score a lot of points, and it would be very, very exciting. But this is a little bit of a different approach and back to maybe giving each other a little too much respect. But here we are, overtime.
To sudden victory we go. Little front head attempt from Fix. You can feel the energy at the rack. Packed to the gills, 8,000.
I would tell you that, you know, this benefits Daton Fix as far as if it gets out of this period. Top and bottom, there's probably a slight edge to Daton Fix, you know, in the next 2 30-second periods. First shot attempt where either guy's really hit their knee. And Daton Fix very close to his ankle there. You can see him.
Very low from Fix in his stance. 20 seconds to go, sudden victory 1. Top, bottom on deck.
Coach Smith, you can't see it. Coach Smith pretty close to the other official, working him a little bit for going to keep hitting him hands to the face there. I can see him talking to the other.
So we'll get the Suriano. Where does he start? Bottom is the choice.
It's important he gets out extremely quickly here. Obviously, riding time will start to be a factor.
Multiple ranked wins already this year for Suriano. Riding time will start becoming a factor, as Sean mentioned just before.
Looks like they want another locking hands call. Goodale's going to challenge it. He
Goody
threw
will
the brick
challenge.
in.
There is the escape from Suriano after 10 seconds, and Scott Goodale will challenge the lock of hands.
It looked like he did. It's hard to say, but
this is going to be on the back end. If we can rewind that just a moment, I think we might get a better look. It's not there.
No, if that's the only view that they have, then that's certainly not locking hands.
Sean, I think that was later in the exchange.
Got it. Saying more immediately when he sat right to his stomach.
I think it was
belly.
the immediate part. But
it better be very clear.
And here we go. Look at the whole exchange.
So right. See that we're going to miss
we're
that.
Gonna miss
That's
Yep.
where they wanted to
Yep.
call, because you could see them get out of their seats. We don't have a great angle on it if that's the case or not. It better be very clear if you're going to make that kind of a call in a match like this.
There is a camera on that side, and this is the angle we're going to get from up top.
It's going to be right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Sean, there looks left hand over right, and they're going to go to the scorer's table, folks. That looked like left hand over right to me. And the question becomes, what happens here? Because Suriano gets the escape, or do they return back to that position? And that's going to be the official's ruling there, right? With dependent discretion.
Yeah, I don't know the rule well enough to know if it's just an accidental touching at the same. Like, did they scrape over each other as he's trying to move his hands to another position, or did the hands touch? I don't.
That's what great job by our crew. That's it right there, left hand over right, and it's so close, Sean. I mean, that's a tough way to call a match.
I would say it's probably
it's 4 fingers there. And that's the rule.
I would say it's probably not locking hands. If that's what the debate is.
Donnie Pritzloff trying to keep Nick Suriano's head on, literally there. The wrestlers walking past each other just to try to stay loose. No bad blood here, per se. I think just good old-fashioned trash talk.
For sure, no. Suriano and Fix both are ultimate competitors. You know, they've faced pretty much any challenge you could face on all levels of wrestling. So, no, they have respect for each other. I mean, that's evident, right? You can see that just the way they wrestled each other, that's evident that they have respect for each other's
They're going to go to the
ability.
official book first before they go to our friend John Reardon on the public address, who will either send this place into a frenzy for one reason or another.
The Oklahoma State coaches don't look thrilled.
They don't look thrilled, but I haven't seen them call stands. I think that's the way to go there. I'm not sure there's enough evidence really to decide a match.
I agree.
Now, the issue becomes Goodale challenged before Suriano escaped. So we're neutral.
No,
yes.
they were.
It was almost simultaneous.
Yeah,
the brick came out, so Suriano would be in neutral off the escape.
I guess that's what
they're trying to figure out. Did he challenge before the escape?
I don't know the.
Oh, now you got to go back to the video.
Yeah,
huh?
I don't know the answer to that either. And I guess it matters when the brick hits the mat.
Or no, I think when the official acknowledges the brick at this point.
Is it when they acknowledge the brick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's what they're going to tell the Oklahoma State coaches, that they did not acknowledge the brick until after the escape. So therefore, Nick's in neutral. And I think that's what John Smith's hearing. Scott Goodale getting ushered back to his corner. So here, Sean, it is at the exact same time. That's a great job by our crew. The brick comes out.
He's out. There's obviously there's a loss of control, so they're neutral.
Suriano up 2-1 in top bottom. 17 seconds to go in the initial period. Fix will get bottom to start his half of the 30. Each guy being very cognizant of the fact that there's another sudden victory period on the horizon, potentially.
Let's see if Suriano can ride him out on top, right? No stall calls, a couple of redrops depending on how it goes, but you know, everybody in this room, New Jersey fans are knowledgeable. They understand the situation right now.
Fix gets to his feet quickly. You mentioned the redrops. Can Suriano get one? He can't give up a reversal there.
They said now Suriano locked his hands. So now Suriano's losing 3-2 on the edge of the mat. And Fix doing what he'll need to do to get a win here.
Suriano gets hit with the locking hands in his part of TB1, and because of that, if it holds, Daton Fix with the upset of 3-2. And it puts Oklahoma State up 8-0.
Let's see if he locked his hands. So unless they,
yeah, he's got his hands locked.
Yeah,
on
but
the
it
hip
depends
there.
on if they're up in the air. I can't. I didn't get a long enough look at it to see if. I'd like to get another look at it to see if they, when he locked his hands, was he down? So here they're neutral. That's fine. That's fine. That's the question.
No, his hand's already out.
They have to give him a chance to unlock his hands. That's the question.
Now again, I find it very difficult to give a match on locked hands.
I mean, it goes back to the same thing that just happened, right? They made the call. If he feels he made the wrong call, does he have
sufficient evidence to overturn?
Well, that and does he have the courage in front of 8,000 people to change the call? You've been watching sports long enough to know that sometimes you don't want to admit you're wrong in some cases. So I'm not saying that is the case here. I'd like to get another look at it.
In this case, the 8,000 people would be very happy for an overturn call.
For sure, but you don't see it often. Of course, the biggest match of the week that's been built up had its fair share of controversy.
Into TB1.
So we're watching it on the
scoreboard here as you get a look at Jason Wedgbury and Jim Ravello, who have been a little too much a part of the story for two bouts.
This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. 1, 2.
Here's the same look we were just getting on the scoreboard.
Good, good, good. 1 Mississippi. It's close.
They're sending both guys to the side. Now, to me,
I'm going to say the call.
To me, if they're going to stand with calls before on the locked hands, it's going to be very difficult to overturn that. I think you have to kind of stay with what the call was there, in which case it would be locked of hands.
I tend to agree. I'd like to see them not just from a sheer, obviously,
from a wrestling perspective.
From a sheer wrestling perspective, I'd like to see them wrestle on their feet for another minute, because I think you're going to get a little bit more action than you had in the first 7.
Last year, Oklahoma State went 13-2, 13th at the NCAA's, 4 All-Americans, 6th straight Big 12 title, as we get a look at this locking hands that might end the 133-pound bout. There's the 1 that you're referring to, 2, 3.
That's fine. That's okay. When his hand
with
was
the hand down.
When the hand goes down, that's the question.
Right.
But this, one thing is, and this is I guess the negative to reviews, is, this match has been going on for the better part of a half an hour.
Yep.
So it kind of takes the energy out of everybody, the room, the wrestlers, the coaches, the athletes on the mat, and the athletes warming up.
To me, if
there has to be a more efficient.
Long,
there has to be a more efficient way.
Yeah, and to me, if you're looking at it this long and you overturn it, it means you were looking for something.
I mean, if you're looking at it this long, he either locked his hands or he didn't.
Correct.
Right? So if he didn't lock his hands, then it's over. Then let's go back to the center and finish wrestling.
We also have a very interesting scenario waiting for us at 141. A couple of wrestlers weighed in. Cade Brock, of course, the hammer, number 13 in the country for Oklahoma State, and Mike Melgado, who's in from Oklahoma State, a Jersey resident who could go at 141. So we're waiting to see how that plays out. You're just tuning in. We're at 133. We're waiting to see if in TB1 a locked hands call will give the bout to Daton Fix. And I think that is the case currently. They continue to look at this replay. It's, as you just said, Esposito from Oklahoma State saying it's either locked hands or it's not.
Goodale's probably trying to negotiate.
And Jason Wedgbury going to talk to John Smith.
So it looks like they're going
to overturn
it.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa. Now you got it. Now, so hold on. There's going to be more of a break because now you got to decide where the riding time is. Look at Coach Smith going over to Strobel,
Greg Strobel, the observer, who we've seen at many matches at the rack.
New Jersey fans are going to be into this next minute.
Greg Strobel, terrific official, the observer.
As a wrestling fan, this is what you want.
Absolutely.
No locking hands, 1 minute. And if I was guessing, Suriano's not going to take his second chance, so to speak, lightly.
Oh my goodness. Could we have asked for better? Other than the delays that are giving us a little too much, as I think some debris came in from the front row.
One of the stalling fists that they give out, the foam stalling fist. Coach Smith is having it right now.
John Smith, one of the most decorated coaches in the history of the NCAA. Coached 32 individual national champions and 5 Olympians. Now, I respect that Jason Wedgbury and Jim Rebello have a very hard job right here. They have to figure out how much time's left on the clock.
Well, what they're doing now is they're looking at how much, because riding time starts to become a factor in the next overtime period. So they're deciding how much riding time, there is. But, I mean, so this match, and whoever's listening at home, this match took just as long as their match in 2014.
32 minutes.
Except for they didn't wrestle the whole time. We're just watching them circle.
There he is, stalking in the back of his bench now.
So both times they've wrestled, it's taken over a half an hour.
For different reasons. The first one, legitimate wrestling for 32 minutes. And Smith is taking umbrage with Greg Strobel, as you said. Less with the 2 officials and more with the observer.
He's not a happy guy. And rightfully so, right? I said right before they overturned it that it looked like it probably was locking hands to me, right?
Again, I think it comes back to they didn't want to decide a match. After reversing, after having Suriano stand, they decided
And I don't know
not
the official rule. How long do I have to give him once they change positions to unlock his hands?
Well, the rack enjoyed that announcement.
So, I don't...
Now, they're claiming neutral.
I actually feel for these guys a little bit because they got 4 screaming coaches on both sides and about 8,000 people on top of them right now, and they're having a moment. There you see John Smith's nephew Perry, who's a great 2-time national champ, I believe, for
and I think he's
Oklahoma
telling his
State.
nephew he's wrong. It's not neutral. If they reverse the locking hands, it's not neutral. There was still control. But he did get out, and they were wrestling on their feet, and it ended 3-2. So that means it's 2-2, and they were in neutral. So Perry actually was right. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We've been waiting too long. I lost my train of thought. So they were in neutral.
It's 2-2.
It's 2-2.
It should be neutral.
Absolutely. Well,
and that's the difference is the Oklahoma State coaches are saying neutral, and Coach Goodale and Coach Leonardis are saying no, the call was reversed, so it goes back to that point in time.
What an all-time meeting.
On top.
What a first all-time meeting between Rutgers and Oklahoma State. And it gets going here at
this pace we're going to be here till Monday.
Donnie Pritzloff, Scott Goodale in discussions with John Smith. As you said, Counselor Goodale trying to make his point in closing arguments.
Well, Goody at this point, right? He doesn't have to be too excitable. I mean, he got what he needed. So
12th season as head coach, pretty remarkably at this point. When you consider 11 years ago, Rutgers wrestling most of their matches at the College Avenue Gymnasium in New Brunswick, a gorgeous practice facility going up next door here to the rack now, which will move their wrestling room from the bowels of the barn over here to Livingston campus, and sold duels in front of 24 people at the barn.
Yeah, Coach Goodale, when he tells that story, he says there was 22. I think there was slightly more than 22. I usually tell it with about 42, but there was, you could name them all. That's who was there. If we knew you, you were mom and dad, you were there. Otherwise, not 8,000.
good to have somebody with program history on their side here, especially when we have a 15-minute delay to decide a locking hands. You got to feel for the wrestlers.
I mean, it definitely, listen, it affects the two of them, right? They've been standing here, and now they're ice cold. They just wrestled.
41, 49.
That's what I'm saying. It affects the guy's back, right? Because you were warmed up. You had yourself set up, right? You have a routine that you go through when you wrestle, and that routine has now been pushed by, they got Coach Smith on the big screen with the mad
cam.
face emojis.
Yeah, the emoji cam. Always a good one. This is a momentum killer for a Rutgers fan base that has sold 3,000 season tickets, top 5 in home attendance.
Hey, you want to get the energy? You want to get the energy? You want to get the energy going again? Let Suriano goes out there and gets a takedown. This place will forget it. Just sat here ice cold for 30 minutes.
With Lipari, Ashnault, and Zambril on deck, no less. 3 guys who can win you bouts.
For sure.
Not to say that the Oklahoma State lineup marching out there, if it ends up being Brock, Gefeller, Blaylock, that's not terrible either.
I mean, both guys at this point are it's like a brand new match. I mean,
it is.
I think you got to wait like 40 minutes before you can wrestle another bout in a tournament. I don't know if it's the 40 minutes. I don't know the exact number, but that's about how long this has been.
All right,
there's got to be a better way to do this.
To John Reardon they go. Now they go to 2-1.
So it's 2-1. There's
24 seconds.
There's 24 seconds.
So Suriano still has the opportunity to ride out 24 seconds here in TB1. So we return to 24 seconds on the TB1 clock. 4 seconds of riding time in favor of Daton Fix.
Oh, man. These two guys, these poor guys.
Fix will start on bottom. He has 24 seconds to get out. Suriano rides him out. That ends the match. Otherwise, we go to sudden victory 2.
I wish they were neutral. I wish they were neutral, and I wish it was the other overtime period.
Redrop opportunity for Suriano. Riding high with 13 seconds. The redrop from Suriano, and they have a challenge again. Is this going to be another locking hands challenge? And there's the escape with 5 seconds left. And now with 2 seconds, they're going to review locking hands.
Let's see it. I'll tell you, if it was locked, they're going to call it at this point. Jeez Louise.
Here's our best look.
I can't see if his hand. All right, so his hand. That's fine. This is fine. You got to go back about another 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, because there's the block's already out. We apologize to the viewers here. As great a match as this is, the cadence not exactly what you would like in a 7-minute wrestling match.
Yeah, let's here. So let's see.
Let's run this slowly. Hand over wrist, fine.
Tries to bring him back down. No touching. Still no touching.
It's on the second redrop coming up, and this is where the hand moves. Amazing job by our crew here.
Still no. So there it is. No, so if that's what they're looking at,
that he's
then
still
that
up,
was not.
right? Then it's not it.
No,
correct.
No.
That's what they reached for.
They think that
he was down. He wasn't.
The angle they have, it looks like.
Right.
No, that is not locking hands.
We'll be 2-2 going to sudden victory.
That is not locking hands.
Correct.
But I was wrong before, so who knows?
No way.
Yeah, definitely no.
So 0.7 seconds, and we go to sudden victory 2.
All right, so 37 minutes later, we're here. We're in overtime on our feet.
I hope somebody's been running a clock so we know which match actually took longer. I'm sure
FloWrestling is for certain
yeah.
has this time.
All right, sudden victory 2, Suriano Fix. We went 7 in regulation. We went 1 in sudden victory. We went 1 in top bottom. We're in a minute 10.
1 wrestling top bottom, 40 watching replays.
That's right. Fix a shot. Suriano blocks it off. 40 seconds to go. Sudden victory 2.
Coach Prisloff asking Suriano to pull the trigger. Fix doing a great job of controlling the ties, not letting Suriano get the space to get to his shots.
Remember the 2014 takedown by Suriano was in a scramble situation where he had to sit through it.
That's right, off of Fix's shot.
Back to the middle we go.
Whoa.
They'll give Fix the point for hands to the face. As you said,
these guys
Sean,
can't get it right, man.
they give a hands to the face point. And that's it.
These guys, that's really bad.
That's it on hands to the face and sudden victory
Wow.
2.
And they gotta officiate 8 more bouts now. That one was 40 minutes of back and forth and banter, and the fans and the coaches and the replays getting into these guys. To make a call like that is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's hands to the face,
but it's not much.
Man, that is really unbelievable.
And water bottles start flying out of the rack crowd.
Yeah,
You don't like that.
that's really pretty ridiculous
And that person
for either one.
That
And
person's
listen,
going to be removed very quickly.
right? I was a former Rutgers wrestler, right? So obviously, let's call a spade, but that was a ridiculous time to make a call like that. I mean, it's a dual meet at the end of the day. It's a dual meet, but are you really going to make a call like that at a national tournament?